Clerk, would you please read the announcement and call the roll?
April 26, 2016. Please be advised, this meeting is being taped for video and audio broadcast. Assisted listening devices are available. Thank you. Mr. Bonifant.
Here.
Mr. Porcello. Mr. Hempstead.
Here.
Mr. Kimmel.
Here.
Mr. Sacchinelli. Ms. Melendez.
Here.
Mr. Sarasis.
Here.
Ms. Bowman. Mr. Sims.
Present.
Mr. Kites.
Here.
Ms. Maggio.
Present.
Mr. De Palma.
Here.
Ms. O'Toole June-Durko. Mr. Igneri.
Here.
Mr. Livingston.
Here.
12 present.
12 present, we have a quorum. Next item on the agenda, the acceptance of the minutes of the regular meeting of April 12th, 2016. Do I have a motion?
So moved. I have a correction, Mr. Mayor.
Yes?
Under page 8.
We have to get the motion first.
Oh, I apologize.
Okay, Mr. Sims moves. Any corrections, deletions, additions?
Correction. So page 8 under the at the top of the page under the personnel. This is a typographical error. The director of personnel is Mr. Hibson, Hibson, not Mr. Ibsen.
Okay. Any other corrections, deletions, additions? Seeing none, all in favor of accepting the minutes as amended by Mr. Sacchinelli? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Mr. De Palma abstains. It was very easy that time. Minutes approved. Next item on the agenda is public participation.
We have none.
We have no one signed to address the council. I see a hand there. Mr. Mushak, would you like to address the council?
Thank you. Good evening. Mike Mushak, 50 Elmwood Avenue. I'd like to speak on 4 items tonight briefly. Strongly support, well, all of your appointments and reappointments. I don't know them all, but I'm sure that the quality is outstanding. But I do know 2 of them personally. Manny Langella will be terrific for the Fair Rent Commission. He is a upstanding citizen and member of our community in South Norwalk. And Elsa Peterson Obachowski. I know her from many, many years of activism in the city, but also as a fellow member of the League of Women Voters. And yes, men can be members of the League of Women Voters. A lot of people don't know that. I'm a proud member. But in Elsa's resume, it says, she has some quotes from past professional relationships. Elsa is a spectacular editor who enhances everything she touches. And I think that's true. So I also want to speak in favor of the ADA improvements for the Norwalk Historical Society Museum, which is right across the parking lot. That includes waterproofing on the back of the structure. There's leaks into the basement. And the ADA that's there is obsolete, dangerous. It's actually rotting. It's a wooden ramp that was put in decades ago. This is really important, and I hope you support it. And also the $500,000 state grant that you have to approve tonight for the Lockwood Matthews Mansion Museum, and that's also for ADA improvements. So ADA seems to be on the agenda tonight. Very important. I have a sister who's in a wheelchair for 40 years from a car accident. I'm really aware of how important ADA is over the years since that amazing law was signed by the first President Bush in 1991. It's really changed everything, but we need to keep our facilities upgraded. So thank you very much, and look forward to your meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Mushak. Is there anybody else that wishes to address the council? Seeing none, we will close the public participation section of the agenda. Next item on the agenda is resignations and appointments. We have a resignation, Mr. David Holler resigning from the Oak Hills Park Authority. Appointments. First appointment is Manny Langella to the Fair Rent Commission. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to
Mr. Sacchinelli.
put Manny Langella forward for the Fair Rent Commission. I'd also like to speak on him. I've known Manny for many, many years. He's a dedicated professional. I've known him on a professional level, a personal level. He's an active member of this community. He's 100% on every project that we've worked on. He's a go-to resource for many advocacy type of items. He's involved. He's a constant resource. Whenever he can be of use, he puts himself forward, and I think he'd be a great individual for the Fair Rent Commission.
Thank you. Any further discussion, further comments? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Congratulations, Manny. Next appointment, Mr. Greg Brasher to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Mr. Kides.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to move the name Greg Brasher to the Zoning Board of Appeals. I've had the opportunity to know Mr. Brasher for many years now, and during that time, I've always known him to give 100% to whatever he's committed to, and I think Norwalk and Zoning Board of Appeals are lucky to have him.
Any further comment? Mr. Igneri.
I've known Greg a lot longer than you have. And I have to agree with you, he'll give 100% to this position, and I look forward to welcome.
Further discussion? Ms.
If I may.
Maggio.
I have only known Greg for 5 years, but in that time, I've seen somebody who could balance a family with a bunch of beautiful girls, coaching, working, grilling, and he, if anybody could add another thing to his plate, would be a great candidate for it. Thanks.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Congratulations, Mr. Brasher. Next appointment is Ms. Patricia A. Williams to the Oak Hills Park Authority. Do I have a motion? Mr. Hempstead.
Ms. Williams was brought on a few years back. I don't know her too much personally, but through more of her meetings in Oak Hills, but she was brought on as part of the change agents that needed to happen within that authority. She dug down hard in those books and really started to help that whole effort to clean house up, get our books in order, get the Oak Hills back in a financial state. I know it's been a yeoman's amount of work, and she did a fine job, and I'm glad you're reappointing her, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Further discussion? Mr. Bonifant.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to include Ms. Walters, who's up next, but I had a conversation with both of them today, and on their resumes, it said they were both members of the Ladies Golf Association up at Oak Hills. And at first, I thought that would be a red flag, and I had a nice conversation with them today about when we put people on boards, we hope that their first loyalty would be to the city of Norwalk, as opposed to furthering your own personal agenda or the agenda of some other board that you might be on at the same time. So I'm really happy to speak with both Jane and Pat today about their attitude towards serving the city of Norwalk, and I'm happy to support you.
Well said. Thank you. Any further comments or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? So carries. Congratulations. Next appointment is Jane Walters, also to the Oak Hills Park Authority. Do I have a motion?
You have a motion.
Mr. Igneri.
I don't know Jane, but I've looked at her resume here. It's outstanding, and she is part of the Oak Hills Women's Golf Association, the Southern New England Women's Golf Association, and the Southern Connecticut Women's Golf Association. I think she's very involved in golf, and I think she will become very involved in the authority and make a good member.
Thank you. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? So carries. Congratulations, Ms. Walters. Next is a reappointment of Elsa Peterson Obachowski to the Oak Hills Golf Authority. Do I have a motion? Ms. Melendez.
I'd like to move Elsa's name forward, and I'm so happy that she's here, and I'm happy she's on our agenda. I am very confident that she truly cares about her position on Oak Hills, and especially the nature in the park. I know her through her work with District A, and I can truly say I don't know where District A would be without her. She really puts in so much effort into what she does and is very, very dedicated, and we should all be honored to have her serving the city. So,
Thank you very much.
thank you, Elsa.
Further discussion? Mr. Sarasis.
I also highly recommend Elsa for reappointment. I've gotten to know her very well. She's done an amazing job in District A, where I serve with Elsa on the council. She's very dedicated. She's always looking to expand what she does for the city, whether it be in the district. Now she's an elected official with the First Taxing District, and she's involved in a lot of other things. And I might add that I went to the opening day last Saturday. Bob Duff was there also, and Elsa did an extremely great job, like making it quite clear and taking us on a walk to show us where all the new public realm areas are going to be built, the Great Lawn and the fountain and lawn area, and the enhancement of the nature trail with the first money we're getting from a grant. And she was very well versed on what's going on and what it's going to provide for the park. And I think she understands the mix between tennis and golf and nature trails and public realm for everybody. And I just think she's a great appointment and will continue to do a good job for the city.
Thank you. Further discussion, comment?
No.
Mr. Kites.
I'm just going to echo what Mr. Sarasis and Ms. Melendez said. Elsa, you've been helpful with everything. You've done a great job in Oak Hills. The many hats you wear, many different things you're involved in Norwalk. You've done an outstanding job, and you put on 100% into everything you do, and much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Further comment? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? So carried. Congratulations, Elsa. Next appointment is Mr. Joe Kendi, also to the Oak Hills Park Authority. Do I have a motion? Mr.
I didn't know.
You choose.
Go ahead.
Mr. Bonifaz.
I'll move Joe Kendi, and I know him well, and probably Mr. Hempstead wants to speak, but I'm glad to support you, Joe.
Thank you. Mr. Hempstead.
Okay. I've only known Mr. Kennedy about 4 years, maybe at best met him through an election process. I will tell you that my limited dealings with him, I can say the man is intelligent, the man has integrity. And as a side note, it's free legal counsel for the Oak Hill Park Authority, which is always a plus since he is an attorney. So I know Mr. Kennedy just got done finishing his first term, and I'm glad the mayor saw fit to reappoint Mr. Kendi. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank
Fully
you.
support me.
Further comment? I know most, if not all, of the appointees as well, and I think they're all good appointments, and I thank them for the opportunity, for being willing to serve the city of Norwalk. I know it takes a lot of time and a lot of energy sometimes, a lot of meetings, and sometimes a lot of pushback, but thank you so much for your willingness to serve. So any further comment on Mr. Kendi? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Congratulations, Joe. Next, another reappointment for Carol Frank from the Human Relations Commission. Do I have a motion?
Here again.
Mr. Hempstead.
Carol and I go back a few years. She's a neighbor not too far around the corner. But I would say, if anything, her service to the Human Relations Commission is a passion that I think she totally believes in what she does. I know she's very active in what she does and concerned with what goes on. And somebody who has been active in the community for a very long time. So I think this reappointment is an excellent choice again, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Congratulations, Carol. And the last is a reappointment of Yvonne Rodriguez to the Human Relations Commission. Do I have a motion? Mr. Sims.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I'd like to move Yvonne Rodriguez. I've known Yvonne for a number of years. Unfortunately, we lost her out of District B with the redistricting in a couple years ago. But she's always been a person that was willing to, she always put the city first, and she always did what was right and sacrificed for the better good. And I think she will be a great addition to the Human Relations Commission.
Thank you. Mr. Kimball.
Yeah, I'd just like to echo Mr. Sims' remarks. Ms. Rodriguez is doing an excellent job on the Charter Revision Commission. Everybody has told, said her work was really valuable. I've known her a few years, going back to an election, I think, in 2011. She's a hard worker, impressive resume. I'm sure she'll do an excellent job.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? I know that I don't think she's here, but congratulations to her as well. The city clerk will now administer the oath of office to the newly appointed and reappointed people. If you'll call them one by one, or however you want to do that.
Okay, I'm going to try to do the two new appointments to Oak Hills, Williams and Ms. Walters. I can do this two at a time. Some people get tired of hearing me say this over and over, so I'll try to
Never.
do it quicker.
Come on down here, please.
All the way.
Come on, the hot.
It's hard being
I
the
don't
first
bite
one.
until
Everybody else
after
knows
you're
now what to do. So, yeah.
In the ultimate
I'm going
fighting
to
ring.
say the oath once for both of you. Okay, if you'll raise your right hand. You, Patricia A. Williams and Jane Walters, having been appointed as a member of the Oak Hills Park Authority of the City of Norwalk, do solemnly swear or affirm that you will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of said office according to your best skill and judgment, so help you God, or upon the pains and penalties of perjury. I will. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you for serving. I'm going to ask you to sign both of them, and then you can keep one and give me the other one back.
Are you going to-
Elsa and Joe.
Elsa and Joe, if you'll come down.
Okay, thanks. Would you raise your right hand, please? You, Elsa Peterson Opachowski, and Joseph Kendi Jr., having been reappointed as a member of the Oak Hills Park Authority of the City of Norwalk, do solemnly swear or affirm that you will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of said office according to your best skill and judgment, so help you God, or upon the pains and penalties of perjury.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you for serving again. And if you'll sign both and give me, yes, here you go. And just leave me one and keep the other.
Amy?
Thank you. Thank you. Would you raise your right hand, please? You, Manny Langella, having been appointed as an alternate member of the Fair Rent Commission of the City of Norwalk, do solemnly swear or affirm that you will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of said office according to your best skill and judgment, so help you God, or upon the pains and penalties of perjury.
I did.
Congratulations. Greg and, yeah, Greg. Thank you.
Hey, Greg.
Raise your right hand, please. You, Greg Brasher, having been appointed as an alternate member of the Zoning Board of Appeals of the City of Norwalk, do solemnly swear or affirm that you will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of said office according to your best skill and judgment, so help you God, or upon the pains and penalties of perjury. Congratulations. Signing both and keep one.
Forgot to say this 5 minutes a week.
Carol, we're ready for Carol. Thank you. Okay. You, Carol Frank, having been reappointed as a member of the Human Relations Commission of the City of Norwalk, do solemnly swear or affirm that you will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of said office according to your best skill and judgment, so help you God, or upon the pains and penalties of perjury. Congratulations. Sign both of them and just leave me one. Here you go. Yeah, and then that one is yours. Thanks, Carol.
I'll take my pen back,
Oh,
please.
you want- Almost had it there.
I usually take your pen, so.
I know.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the mayor's comments. Today, at the Capitol, we showcased Norwalk with Norwalk Day, our second annual Norwalk Day, and it was an amazing, amazing event. The lieutenant governor showed up, a lot of our state delegation showed up, and we had vendors there or displays there from Lockwood Matthews Mansion, Norwalk Historical Society. We had the Maritime Aquarium, Stepping Stones Museum, Cops Island Oysters, the library. Just so many people showed up and showcased Norwalk. And I was asked to make some comments, and I said, you know, I can't think of a place that's more exciting right now, anywhere in the tri-state area or perhaps in a wider area than Norwalk, Connecticut. All the things that are going on with the developments, the wonderful things that are happening, and most of the people there agreed with me. The only people that didn't agree with me were from Stanford and other, no. But it was just a wonderful opportunity, and we're going to be doing that again next year. So if you have an opportunity to come up, it's held in the Capitol. It's an amazing day, a lot of fun. We had the newly formed Norwalk Police pipe band where they played the bagpipes and marched in with the lieutenant governor. So it was really a great day, and it was a lot of fun. This Friday, April 29th, everybody is invited to celebrate our new logo and our new slogan, the sound, Connecticut, or Norwalk, the sound of Connecticut. It's Celebrate the Sound of Norwalk. There will be food and fun, celebrating Norwalk's new branding at the Waypoint Arcade from 3:30 to 5 p.m. If you haven't seen our branding, you can see downstairs in the lobby. A lot of time and energy went into finding the exact way that we can have people sit up and take notice about what Norwalk really is and how exciting, again, that it is. On Thursday, May 5th at 4 p.m., you're invited to Norwalk's Ultimate Block Party. It's an outdoor community event featuring games, live music, educational activities, and fun for the entire family. It's going to be at the Lockwood Matthews Mansion property. And the Stepping Stones Museum this year is hosting the International Association of Children's Museums annual conference. We expect as many as 800 to 1,000 people coming into Norwalk from actually all over the world. 20 different nations are going to be represented, and we're going to showcase Norwalk. A lot of the events are going to be held in Stamford, some will be held in Norwalk, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's another opportunity to just show what Norwalk's all about. So if you're around on May 5th, the conference is going to be from May 4th to May 7th. There's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of activities, and it's going to be Norwalk Acts staff will be on hand to talk about the collective impact and summer learning opportunities for all ages, and the event is free and open to the public. And also, it's not on here, but this Saturday at Norwalk Community College, we're going to have a summer learning symposium. Talking about how important it is for young people to continue the learning process during the period between June and September when they're out of school. So that'll be a lot of fun as well. So if you're available and you want to attend that, please do. Mr. Kimmel.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, once again, I want to commend our tax collector's office. It's once again buried in the backup, the fact that as of the end of March, the collection rate for taxes in Norwalk was over 98%, which is probably the highest in the state or among the highest in the state. Now, to get an idea of what I'm talking about translates into about $294 million have been collected. Now, we've been in discussions over the last few months about our budgets, operating budgets, capital budgets, and we've been dickering over 300,000, 600,000, $1 million. Just imagine if our tax collection rate was 97%. Talking about $300 million. How much more difficult those debates are. And we are fortunate that every year we can craft budgets where we're projecting a tax collection rate of about 99%. It would be so much harder to fund everything we're funding. So that office should be commended. It's obviously a thankless job. There's jokes about it, and on and on and on. But we are really fortunate in Norwalk. Reading the press this week and reading all of the last couple of weeks, the back and forth around Pine Island Cemetery, I began to think about the various committees that I've been on. And when you go to a council committee meeting, you have paid city staff presenting items to the committee. And we go back and forth, what about this, what about this, what about this? Except for one glaring exception. In land use and building management, we have staff coming to the committees. We have staff from the Board of Education, we have city staff, but we also have volunteers from the Historical Commission who are indistinguishable from city staff, if you didn't know it. But they're volunteers. They're not getting paid. And they are taking care of buildings, valuable historic buildings in this city. Lockwood Matthews Mansion, our museum, Mill Hill, all of our cemeteries, and they're volunteers. This is something special. And we should cherish that so much time and effort is being put in for folks who are not paid a penny. They're part of the budget discussion. They go before the bet. Remember, this is a part-time volunteer job for them. So the city is very fortunate. I think that they should also be commended. A couple of announcements. May 2nd, it's in the community room at 7 o'clock. There'll be a public hearing on the Charter Revision Commission report. The following Monday, May 9th, there'll be another public hearing for those who are not able to make the first public hearing. That will take place at 7 in this room, council chambers. For anyone interested, the entire Charter Revision Commission report is on the city's website. It's right up there on the front page. You can't miss it. It's got all the supporting documentation. Some of it is very interesting reading if you're into that kind of stuff, and I advise you to take a look. They've done a lot of work, and we're very, very pleased so far. One other point. At the end of February, when Tom Hennick from the State Freedom of Information Commission appeared in this chamber to talk to council members, Board of Ed members, and other city staff, he talked about the commission wrestling with what he considers and they consider a problem, and that's use of cell phones during meetings, because there's the possibility, to use his terms, of meetings occurring within meetings, which would be an FOI violation. And a number of towns have been wrestling with this technology, which is advancing faster than we can I could ever imagine on what to do. So what I would like to do, and I think both sides, Republicans and Democrats, have agreed to try this out. What we will do is try to keep our cell phones out of sight during a meeting. If you see someone step into a caucus room for a couple seconds, it may be because there is some emergency and they have to answer or take a call for whatever reason. We have to trust that it's a good reason. But we're going to see how this works out, where we won't see cell phones strewed about all over. I understand, I've been informed that you can do most of this stuff with your watches. I'm not suggesting that we move to ban watches. My parents were watchmakers. That's how I made my allowance when I was growing up, so I'm fond of watches, okay? So they'll stay. But thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kimball.
The consent calendar this time around is to be read by Ms. Maggio.
Thank you. You can take a call, John?
Yeah, we'll take a call.
Okay. First up, Recreation, Parks, and Cultural Affairs Committee. Number 1, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to enter into an agreement with Chosen Few Entertainment LLC for the use of Matthews Park for an SOS Music Fest finale to be held Saturday, August 27th, 2016, from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. set up to take place Saturday, August 27th, at 9 a.m. with tear down no later than noon on Sunday, August 28th. Estimated attendance is 200 plus. Number 2, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to enter into an agreement with Chosen Few Entertainment LLC for the use of Andrews Field parking lot for a Lyft Learning is Fun 2 carnival to be held Friday, June 24th, 2016, Saturday, June 25th, 2016, and Sunday, June 26th, 2016, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily, set up to take place Sunday, June 19th at 8 a.m. with tear down no later than noon Monday, June 27th, estimated attendance 500 plus. Number 3, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to enter into agreement with Norwalk High Marching Bears, Inc. for the use of Andrews Field for a fundraiser carnival to be held Wednesday, May 11th, 2016, from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., Thursday, May 12th, 2016, from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., and Friday, May 13th, from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. Set up to take place noon on Monday, May 9th, 2016, with tear down no later than noon on Sunday, May 15th, estimated attendance 500 plus. And number 4, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to enter into agreement with Rowayton School PTA for the use of the Rowayton School grounds for a carnival to be held Thursday, May 12th, from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., Friday, May 13th, from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., and Saturday, May 14th, from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Set up to take place noon on Wednesday, May 11th, with tear down no later than noon on Sunday, May 15th, estimated attendance 500. Finance Committee. Number 1, to accept and approve the reports of the Claims Committee dated April 5th, 2016. Number 2, for informational purposes only, narrative on tax collections dated April 14th, 2016. Number 3, for informational purposes only, a monthly tax collectors report dated March 31st, 2015. And number 4, to authorize the mayor to execute a 4-year master lease agreement for office copiers with TGI Office Automation and authorize the purchasing agent to add office copiers to this master agreement for a total amount not to exceed $268,505.21, and that will be out of various city accounts. Number C, Land Use and Building Management Committee. Number 1, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute a license agreement with Marinello's Pizzeria and Deli to operate the newsstand concession at City Hall for an initial term of 3 years plus 2 one-year options, effective dates from 5/1/16 through 4/30/19, and 2 one-year options from 5/1/19 to 4/30/21. Annual payment schedule to the city shall be as follows. Fiscal year 16 to 17, $3,600. 17 to 18, $3,700. 18 to 19, $3,800. Option years 19 to 20, $3,800, and 20 to 21, $3,800. 2A, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute a contract with Milan's Expert Renovation LLC for Phase 1 of ADA enhancements, foundation waterproofing, and drainage improvements to the Norwalk Museum building at City Hall for a total amount not to exceed $169,202.50. Various accounts are noted. And 2B, to authorize the Historical Commission to issue change orders on contract for a total not to exceed $22,000. Number 3, resolution. Whereas pursuant to PA 79-607, Section 21B6B, the Connecticut Department of Economic and Community Development is authorized to extend financial assistance for economic development projects, and whereas it is desirable and in the public interest that the city of Norwalk make an application to the state for $500,000 in order to undertake the ADA compliance improvements at the Lockwood Matthews Mansion and execute an assistance agreement. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Norwalk Common Council, 1, that it is cognizant of the conditions and prerequisites for the state financial assistance imposed by PA 79-607, Section 21B6B. Two, that the filing of an application for state financial assistance by the City of Norwalk in the amount not to exceed $500,000 is hereby approved, and that the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, is directed to execute and file such application with the Connecticut Department of Economic and Community Development to provide such additional information, to execute such other documents as may be required, to execute an assistance agreement with the state of Connecticut for the state financial assistance, if such an agreement is offered, to execute any amendments, decisions, and revisions thereto, and to act as the authorized representative of the City of Norwalk. D, Ordinance Committee. 1, approve proposed revisions to the City Code, Chapter 11A, Alarm Systems. And 2, approve proposed revisions to the City Code, Chapter 98, Vehicle and Traffic, 98-26, Parking of Commercial Vehicles. And that is your consent calendar.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Maggio. Are there any changes in the consent calendar? Mr.
Yes.
Sims?
I noticed item 7A4 should read, authorize the mayor here to be willing to enter an agreement with the Rowayton PTA for the use of Rowayton School grounds for a carnival to be held Thursday, May 12th, 2016, from 10 a.m. instead of 5 p.m., from 9 to 9 p.m. Friday, May 13th, 2016, from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. Saturday, May 14th, 2016, from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. Set up to take place noon on Wednesday, May 11th, 2016, with tear down no later than noon on Sunday, May 15th, 2016, estimated attendance 500.
If I followed you right, Mr. Sims, the times have to be adjusted on this?
That is correct.
Okay, so my suggestion is we will, Mr. Sims, I'm going to assume you're asking for it to be removed from consent. We will vote on the consent calendar, and then the mayor will call you, and we will amend that single item, okay?
May I
So-
say something before we?
Sure you can.
The only reason why I would think it would stay the same at 5 p.m., I believe that school is still in session at that time. And I think it's an afternoon carnival, except for Saturday. Saturday, we would change, but I think Thursday and Friday stay.
We have somebody here.
Okay, we'll get into the discussion. So Mr. Sims has removed, amended the consent calendar. All those in favor of the consent calendar as amended by Mr. Sims, please raise their hand. Okay, the consent calendar as amended passes. Ms. Melinda, in 2 weeks, you will be reading the consent calendar. I think you come next. Mr. Mayor, you have the...
Thank you, Mr. Kimmel. Item 7A4, Mr. Sims. Item 7A4, the Rowayton Carnival. You're the...
Does I have the young lady
Yep.
here from Rowayton? Can you step up, please? Yep. All right. Believe Ms.
I'm sorry.
McNash-
I just had a question because I thought maybe school was still in session and that you were an afternoon carnival on those 2 days, and I could be completely wrong.
Maybe you should move the item first.
Okay.
Mr. Sims moves, I call it Mr. Sims moves the item.
I moved the item.
Carnival setup begins Thursday, May 12th, around 10 a.m. while school is in session on the field. There's tents that get set up, tables, chairs, porta potties, the rides. The carnival begins May 13th, Friday at 5 p.m. Setup also happens during the day while the children are in school. The carnival on Saturday, May 14th, is from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Tear down happens Saturday after 5 p.m.
Okay, so the only thing we need to really change in this would be Saturday, May 14th, from 5 p.m. to 10 a.m.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
She said they set up during the day, not...
10 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturday.
No, it still goes to 9 AM. We have to
9
omit
PM.
the 5
9
PM,
PM.
change
9
that
PM.
to 10 AM, and have it go until 9 PM, right? On Saturday. Yes, it starts at 10 on Saturday and goes until 9.
The carnival ends at 5 PM on
Oh, it
Saturday.
ends at 5.
Tear down happens Saturday, so we're out of there long before 9.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so the 5 PM is the ending time on Saturday?
Yes, sir.
And 10 AM
I
is
think we give them
Then they tear down.
the 9 o'clock
to get.
leeway, just so they can get everything out. So, that's just probably just give her a little buffer to get everything broken down and out of there.
Don't you need during the day?
Mr.
We just
Igneri?
have to give her
Can you
till.
please identify yourself?
Stephanie Griffith with the carnival chair, we're right in school PTA.
Any, I'm not either. Mr. Livingston?
I understand you need time to set up on each of those days, so that makes sense that we go from 10 a.m.
Right,
Is
and
that correct?
that's the only correction I was trying to make, is that on May 14th, we have them starting at 5 PM. They need to change that so that it starts at 10 AM,
10 a.m.
not 5
And also on
PM.
May 12th, 13th, they all start, every day is 10 a.m.
No.
Well, they're setting up at,
They're going to be setting
They're
up.
setting up, don't they need-
Right, so they need to.
They-
so
But Saturday, the carnival's actually going to start at 10.
But
I think it might be a little bit easier if we say,
You can have the whole week, do whatever you
Yeah.
want, okay?
hold on, wait. Well, time. May 12th, set up from 10 a.m., carnival from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Right.
May 13th, set up from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., carnival from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Saturday, May 14th, carnival from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., with tear down continuing on until 9 p.m.
And that, folks, is why he is the mayor, okay?
Is that correct? Am I getting close?
Yes.
Everything
Wait.
except for one thing. The carnival is not happening Friday from 5 to 9 PM. The carnival is 2 nights, Friday and then Saturday, 2 days.
Yeah, from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Friday.
Yeah.
And it's but you also indicated you're setting up from 10 a.m. on Friday,
Thursday.
Thursday and Friday. Because I'm thinking that Friday is probably already set up. Oh, yeah, we have another hand here. You want to help us? Come on down.
It also says May 11th set up.
Are you
Yeah.
taking us for a ride?
May 11th is Tuesday.
my trade, but I'm not gonna do that. No, I'm co-chair,
I don't
Katie
follow.
Carr with Stephanie Thurway in school, and the only thing I wanted to say was that, yes, there will be setup happening on Thursday, yes, there will be setup happening while the kids are in school on Friday, to 10 a.m. to 9 p.m., but also for Saturday morning, if we could have some setup time before 10 p.m. when the carnival actually starts, so perhaps at 9.
10 a.m. 10 a.m.
Sorry, a.m., like I said, for the record. But if we could have an hour or two beforehand to set up on Saturday morning as well, that would be great.
You also have set up on Wednesday, May 11th?
Correct, but we do break down food tables and chairs and wipe them all down pursuant to the health code requirements that we have, so we will need to be setting those all up again Saturday morning.
I'll say, who wants to try this?
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
Maybe make this also, but if you look at their application that's in the packet,
Yeah, it's all the applications.
I think we can make this simple with authorize them to have a carnival and set up on the Waiting Field starting 5/12 at 10 a.m. and ending at 5 p.m. on 5/14. Because I think the way they worded it
Yeah.
in the application, they were going from, there you go. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Mayor?
Mr. Sims?
That's why I try to simplify it by just saying 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. On all the various dates that they wanted. So, Michelle, thanks for opening up that can of
No,
worms.
I'm so sorry, buddy. No, but then you were cutting them off at 5 o'clock, they want to go to 9.
We want to go till 9.
So,
You got it.
why don't we just say that setup begins at noon on Wednesday, May 11th, with the carnival running from Thursday, May 12th,
Friday, May 13th.
Friday, May 13th, and Saturday, May 14th, ending Saturday, May 14th at 5 p.m.,
Correct.
and tear down no later than Sunday, May 15th at 2016, estimated attendance 500. Does that work?
Sounds good.
Sounds great.
All right.
Did you get all that?
Thank you, Mr. Sims. Thank you, young ladies. All in favor of item number 7A4 as amended, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, carried. Mr. Kimmel? Nothing is ever, yes,
I'd like to make a, are we done?
oh, okay, so that carries, okay.
You're all set.
Now, we move on the agenda to item 2,
Item 10.
item 7, item 9,
10.
item 10. Mr. Kimmel,
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules in order to appoint purchasing agents for the city.
Mr. Kimmel's made a motion to suspend the rules,
To add an item to the
to
agenda.
add an item to the agenda. All in favor, or any discussion?
To adding the item?
Could you,
Well, he'll explain that in a minute, but he's,
Yeah, I'm making a motion to suspend the rules to add an item to the agenda that deals with the appointment of a purchasing agent for the city.
appreciate it. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Ms. Maggio, I didn't catch you.
I'm sorry, I did, I voted in favor of.
In favor, okay. So 10 in favor, 2 opposed. Motion carries. Mr. Kimmel.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the appointment of Mr. Messina, whose first name I can't remember.
Joseph?
Yeah, I gave my backup to another council member, to Joseph Messina, to be the purchasing agent for the city. It was rather late, I think, early yesterday, where we received the backup material and resumes and everything else for this appointment. Mr. Messina, according to his resume and from what I could find out from the folks who interviewed him, is highly qualified. The letters that we received from the city staff that did the interviews were glowing. As you all know, that Gerald Foley left the city a month or so ago for another job. And also, as we are aware of, this is an extremely critical position that needs to be filled as soon as possible. So we do not have even a greater backlog of things that have to go out to bid. As you know, almost everything we do involves some type of bidding. And without that being a fully staffed office, the city is going to just cripple along, and we could suffer dearly. So we realize that we received this information late, and thus we're suspending the rules. But because the item is so important, because the candidate has such an extensive background, we felt it is very important to move quickly on this. So I hope we can approve this appointment this evening. He has been well vetted, and we all have his background and resume and everything else. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kimmel. I have Mr. Barron and Mr. Messina here if anybody has any comments or questions. Any further discussion?
Are we discussing it all?
Mr. Hempstead.
The only, I still want to say for the record, since we took the vote, I support Ms. Bonifaz because I have concerns with any appointment that is a director of department should be properly vetted through the Personnel Committee as a normal process. I understand the dilemma the city is in, and that's why I'll be supporting this tonight. I understand where we are. It's more about, to me, about process, and I really felt this coming up, especially at the last minute. In other words, it didn't even come before the weekend. Can we add it on? That I have concerns. I just introduced myself to the gentleman before we started the meeting. You're right about his resume. It's pretty fairly impressive. Certainly know by now that he must have told somebody he's not there anymore at this other job anyhow. So, but I will be supporting the appointment, but I'm just saying mine is about process, and I just wanted to make sure that I was on record with that.
Further discussion. Mr. Bonifaz.
thank you, Mr. Mayor. I also had concerns about the process. I understand that the opening, or the opportunity to fill the opening came at the last minute, and I understand that. But I feel like we're sitting here wide open to the criticism of this is the textbook way of slipping something through without the public ever getting a chance to comment on this. So, I mean, it wasn't on the agenda ahead of time. No public would get any opportunity to weigh in on this matter, and that's the only reason why I'm upset about the process, but that's it.
Thank you. Ms. Maggio.
If I could just say one thing, it would be, I understand what these guys are coming from with the process. However, we have a very qualified guy who's running the personnel department now. And I think that we have to let him do his job. And if he is recommending Mr. Messina for the job, and we had the unfortunate loss of Gerald Foley, and we need to fill this position right away, I'm going to support this this evening.
Thank you. Further discussion? Seeing none. Was that your hand? Oh, I'm sorry.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, the charter says the mayor appoints and the council confirms the purchasing agent and his salary. So part of your package has a justification for a grade level 4 salary from me at the $106,851. I provided my justification to the Director of Personnel, and he approved it. You'll see at the top of the letter that he says I support the recommended salary. So it's not only the appointment of the purchasing agent, but it is the confirmation of his salary.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? 11 in favor, 1 opposed. Motion carries. Congratulations, Mr. Messina. Welcome aboard. Thank you, Mr. Barron. Mr.
The swearing in will take...
Yeah, well, yeah.
I'll bring you by
Right.
Donna's office. Thank you all very much. And Joan, we can stand up for a moment. Joe indicated that with his appointment this evening, he'll put in his 30-day notice for tomorrow, and we look to have him the day after Memorial Day at the end of May.
Thank you.
You'll be buying a lot of stuff, so.
Mr.
Excuse me.
Saressis.
Order, going back to general council business, is there not a public hearing this Thursday?
For,
That wasn't announced about,
for GGP?
no, for the murals?
That's tomorrow night. For,
About the murals?
The murals in City Hall that was it was an article in the...
oh, yes, the Human Relations Commission.
Right, yeah, that
About the
was
mural.
mentioned.
Oh, okay.
Publicly.
That's this Thursday evening. Human Relations Commission will be having a public hearing in the council chambers regarding the WPA mural called Mississippi, Steamboat on the Mississippi. Thank you, Mr.
What time is that?
6:30.
6:30. Mr. Hempstead.
Motion adjourned.
Oh, yeah.
All in favor?
10 o'clock or 5 o'clock?
That was cute.
That was sneaky.
Yes.